If you could buy a small business like a hot dog cart for $1,000 and in the equipment there was a cash register with $1,000 cash and the equipment was worth something and the license to operate was worth something, you're paying $1,000 for it, you get $1,000 cash. That seems like a good deal, right? Well, welcome to PetMeds. PetMed Express or 1-800-PetMeds, if you remember the old commercial, is a company like this. And in investing, this is called a net. They're very rare, and they usually have a lot of hair on them. This is no exception. So I did a video on this a while back when it was like $4 or $5, and I sold for a small loss when some accounting issues came out, and now it's down to 175, and it looks really interesting, but it's got some hair on it, as I said. So if you were to buy every share of the company today at $36 million for the whole company, you have this company which has no debt, $35 million in cash, and they own real estate in Florida that's worth somewhere between my calculations, $60 million and $125 million. So why is it selling for so cheap? Well, at one point, this was worth a lot of money, $37 a share. And as they were trying to grow and acquire market share, the price kept going lower and lower as they lost money. And eventually they got a new CEO who was cutting costs drastically and stabilized it. And they were making a small profit. And that's when I got interested in. But the problem is that if you have a company that's not making money and it's just losing a little bit, they call that a melting ice cube. And no matter how much cash you have, if they can't turn the company around, eventually it'll go under. And this one seemed that they were turning it around. And so even if they're not making a lot of money, as long as they're not losing money and they have a lot of assets, it seemed very interesting. But then the issues came out where there was some accounting irregularities and they fired the CEO and the stock tanked. And I sold out for a loss. It was not a big position, so it wasn't a big loss. But, if you want to invest in a company and you can't trust the numbers, it's hard to figure out how much it's worth. And they just announced that they are still not able to fix the accounting issues and will be filing their financial reports delayed. But what they have so far is kind of interesting that they've released. So net sales of 43 million. But the really interesting part is this. They had 36.1 million in cash and no debt. So remember I said the hot dog cart that sold for $1,000 and you've got $1,000 in the cash register, $36 million for the entire company, and you get $36 million in cash with no debt. So you're getting the business for free. These businesses are very profitable when they're sold because you need a license in 50 states to operate this because they are pharmaceuticals. And just like you would prescribe Oxycontin or something for a human, to prescribe it for a pet, you would need the same type of pharmacy. So these licenses are hard to come by. And there are big players that want to get into this space. And so just the licenses alone in 50 states could be worth a lot of money. And you get this company that already has the licenses and you're paying $36 million for it and they have $36 million in cash. That seems great. And they have a piece of real estate, which is the headquarters in Florida. And as they've shrunk, most of that headquarters is underutilized. So they could easily sell it and then lease it back because they're not using most of it. And as I said, not only are you getting this for the cash on the cash register, but you are getting the warehouse and offices, which are worth between 60 and 125 million. And that's all paid for, no mortgage or anything like that. So what are the issues? One is since they haven't filed their new financials after they fired the CFO, you don't know if they're making money. So under the prior CEO, it looked like it was making a small amount of money. And so if this one is not making money, if it is losing money, then that 36 million in cash could eventually get eroded quarter over quarter. And you might say, well, if they've got that much cash and that much valuable real estate, surely someone will take them over, a hostile bidder. And that's an interesting thought. But under the prior CFO and CEO, they enacted something called the poison pill, which would make it very difficult for someone to buy this in a hostile takeover. So if someone acquires more than, I believe it was 12% of the shares, they couldn't submit a hostile takeover without board approval and existing shareholder approval. They can dilute you, so they've sort of drawn the walls and cemented themselves in place, and they're ready for a siege. So a takeover would have to be friendly to the board and shareholders. So this is technically a net. As I said, you're buying a hot dog cart for $1,000. They've got $1,000 in the cash register, and you've got these licenses and equipment, and it seems very valuable. And if you had a bunch of these, it might be interesting just sort of as a basket. But this does have hair on it because of the accounting issues. You don't know if they are making money or losing money, and if they're losing money, how long will that take to dissipate that 36 million? You can't really rely on somebody taking it over because it's so cheap, because they have poison pills in place to prevent a hostile takeover. It's a very small cap at these prices. Now it's only 36 million, so it's very illiquid, and there's a big difference between the bid and the ask. So if you wanted to buy a lot of this, you might drive up the price with your buying. And if you wanted to sell at today's price because you had shares, that might take either a long time to get rid of if you had a big position, or your selling might drive down the price. And also, if you wanted to trade options on this, it's sort of at a weird spot because it's been beaten down and it's at $1.72 today. And you said, well, maybe I'll buy some long-term calls, and when it recovers, I'll make a lot of money. The only problem with that is there are no long-term calls. The furthest out the calls go is June 2026, which is 8 months away. And it's $1.72 now, but the cheapest call that you can buy, which is the right to buy the shares, is at $2.50. So it would have to be above $2.50. Plus, they're asking, the person selling the call option is asking for 75 cents. So it would have to be above $3.25 in 8 months for you to make a profit if you try to buy call options on this. So, it's a very tough way to play this. And, net nets used to be very popular in Warren Buffett's early investing career because he started under Ben Graham, and Ben Graham started after investing during the Great Depression, and there were a lot of these zombie companies walking around with more cash on the balance sheet than they needed. But those are very rare now, and usually when you find them like this, they have a lot of hair on them. But here's an example, and you can look at it, and if you can figure it out, good luck to you. But I looked at it, and I don't think options are the way to go. And it is very cheap, but it is cheap for a reason. So I prefer paying a little more when it's a lot clearer and a lot easier. As my soccer coach used to say, you don't get any extra points for doing it the hard way. So I feel like this one is the hard way. So anyway, good luck, everyone. Let me know what your thoughts are on PetMed Express. 1-800-PetMeds. Leave them in the comments. And if you'd like to see any other videos, just leave a comment below, and like and subscribe, because that helps the channel and helps the algorithm. And if you want to support the channel, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link and a link to sign up with Robinhood. And just a reminder, this is how me walking through my process, how I invest. It's not how you should invest. And I'm not your financial advisor, so do your own research. And because it's your money, not my money. And, if I lose money, I can take it. But, if you lose money, you're the one who's going to have to bear the consequences. So this is just for discussion purposes. So let's discuss. Anyway, have a great day, everyone.